All right, good evening. It is Tuesday night. I typically go live on Wednesdays, but I will be traveling tomorrow. And so instead, I decided that I was going to go live on Tuesday night instead. So here we are. I have a couple of ladies that are going to join me tonight. I do have some other guests that are going to be joining us as well. But we wanted to just take some time this evening, share some stories, maybe offer some hope, maybe offer some education. I have a gut health nurse that's going to be joining us here shortly, and we just want to be able to bring forth the information that is having such an impact in the lives of myself, the ladies, the guests that are going to be joining us, and so we just wanted to hop on here. So if you are looking at this picture here beside us, maybe there's some symptoms on here that you're struggling with. Maybe you have diabetes. Maybe you have some weight issues that you just struggle to maintain. Maybe you're on this diet roller coaster where you lose some and then you gain it back and whatever. So maybe that's you. Maybe you suffer from high cholesterol, high blood pressure. So we are going to be talking about some of these health issues, these chronic health issues that are plaguing our country today, and that we have found is insulin resistance as being the root cause. So hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. Let me see if I can see everybody. I'm going to change my screen. So we're just getting started. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Mimi.
Hello.
I know I saw Ott in the background somewhere, so I know he's back there too. All right, so I was just kind of letting everybody know that we are going to go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about health tonight. We're going to talk about different types of health issues, right? Because no two bodies are the same. And so we wanted to just kind of have a few different guests on here to be able to share their stories. And if this resonates with you, we want you to ask questions. We want you to, the Mimi is the only medical professional that works in the medical field that's on this live tonight. But none of us, not even Mimi, can offer medical advice, right? We can tell you what we've learned. We can tell you what we've experienced through our journey. Mimi's going to offer some knowledge and insight into insulin resistance and gut health specifically, because she's a gut health nurse. And maybe we can just maybe shed some light on some questions that you've had. Medications tend to mask and manage symptoms, and we want to let people know that there's other alternatives. There's natural alternatives. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. So maybe you're here on this live and you've never been here before. My name is Becky. I'm the host, and I'm joined with some friends. We're going to get to them here shortly. I started this journey specifically myself 7 years ago after being diagnosed with uterine cancer. And it really kind of opened my eyes. And I started to just do research. I would listen to podcasts. I would read books. I would listen to I would read news articles. I went to PubMed and read news articles. I wanted to know everything that I could around cancer. And what I found in 4 years of research was a lot of it has to do with our food. And so I happen to think, and I take on the mantra of food is the one thing that we can control. And so that's why I talk about food so much, but we're going to talk about how that affects our gut health. And so that's why I'm on this journey. 3 years ago, I came across a fiber and fasting protocol that I've had dramatic results with. And as of these other guests that we have with us tonight. I'm excited about Trisha. Trisha's been on, I've had them all on lives in the past, but Trisha wanted to share some other stories as well as her own tonight too. So we might get to hear some new stories I've not heard of before. But Sherry, you were on here first. And so I just figured that I'm going to start with you. If you would be willing just to kind of share your story real quick, where you were. We do have a time frame. We like to be off of here prior to 8 o'clock. We've got another call we want to be on. So we'll make the testimonies kind of short and sweet so we can get to the science. But Sherry, if you'd be willing to kick us off, I'd appreciate it.
Sure, no problem. Now, my journey started about 1.5 years ago. Diagnosed with pre-diabetes, high blood pressure, and I never had a high blood pressure before. Everybody else in my family had high blood pressure. Was working full time, no issues, no nothing. And during COVID at that time, had COVID twice when I was still working, and they wouldn't see me at the doctor's office. Of course, we know now they wouldn't have done anything. But anyways, trying to get in there and get some kind of help, something anyways. And no, it's been too long since you've been here. We need to get you back in. We can't fit you in right now, whatever. So I just went back with hubby. on one of his visits and, wasn't thinking anything of it. I've been overweight all my life. I've struggled since I was 12 years old, was diagnosed with underactive thyroid at 12. Didn't know anything about that and all that. Always been low energy, all that kind of stuff. So looking back, I can see the issues I had pretty much my whole life and didn't even realize it. But anyways, went with my hubby to a doctor's appointment and my blood pressure was 185 over 110. No clue. That little high, a little higher than I wanted. And I didn't have a clue. And of course, the blood work came back. My A1C was 6. He said my LDL was up. I wasn't concerned about that. But anyways, my A1C and of course the blood pressure. Okay, we're gonna put you on a metformin, a statin, and a high blood pressure. I'm like, no. How about just take the blood pressure for now? Because I'd already been looking into statins and metformin. My sister was on metformin for 20 years, and her kidneys just shut down, and she passed away 3 years ago. And I have. Whatever. I believe that was a contributing factor. But anyways, and so I looked into metformin and statin. I didn't want anything to do with it. I thought, no, I gotta figure out some other way, whatever, diet, exercise, something natural. So then going back, my brother had started this before October of 24. And so we went camping with him and I was able to chat with him for a little while. And my whole goal was, I didn't even think about the weight loss. I mean, yeah, I'd love to lose a weight, but mine was just getting off the blood pressure medicine. I know medicine is not the answer. It's just masks the problem and it's not going to fix any issue. Otherwise, why do you got to keep refilling your prescription? That was just my thought. Mm-hmm. So anyways, got to talk to my brother and he was on 3 different blood pressure pills, had been for a while, but he had lost 30 pounds in 2 months. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. And he's like, I'm just going to tell you, just do it. He said, easiest thing, you got to drink your tea 3 a day that helps to shut off the food noise, helps to lower your sugar, raise your GLP-1. And he said, you take a fiber before your largest meal. He said, that's it. And I lost 30 pounds in 2 months. Of course, he's a guy. Wow. And faster than we do, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I thought, that's what I'm talking about. So got on Facebook and happened to see a testimony with John Cox, of course, and, how he reversed his neuropathy, was diabetic for 20 years and all that. And I'm like, I am not going down this diabetic road. And you would thought I would have been looking into this, years ago, but had no clue, never knew what insulin resistance was about, never heard it from my doctor's office or anything either. So I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. So I got quite a bit of weight, I think, to lose. I got more to go, but I've been plateaued for a while. But starting the system back in November 24, I felt a difference within the first week. I could tell my energy level was going up. I could, not to say I didn't do anything because I worked full times and I did 4 days in a row every other weekend and it was 12-hour shifts and I drove 2 hours. So that was 16 hours. So it was like I was doing stuff and I was on my feet that whole time at work. So I was moving and whatnot. But when I was home, I was tired. I didn't want to get off the couch. I didn't want to do anything. Yes, I still did the regular things and stuff, but I was just exhausted all the time. Had no clue. But in was starting this product because it helps with you to reverse insulin resistance, but it helps to boost your energy, all that. I noticed a difference in the first week. And in the first week, I could tell, I'm like, hey, okay, because I just retired just after when I started. I just retired in the beginning of the month, and I started the middle of the month on this program. So I'm like, hey, okay, I got all these projects to do now. Okay, I want to do them, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? So, and I noticed within 3 weeks, I've had plaque psoriasis ever since I can remember, and I'm just like 3 weeks in, I'm like, hey. My scalp isn't bothering me. And going into winter, you know how that goes. Your skin gets dry and all that stuff. And I noticed that wasn't bothering me. The eczema was going away. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Nothing. I mean, I didn't know what to expect or whatever through this and whatnot. So, but anyways, then in 4 months, I was off my blood pressure medicine. And my blood pressure on medicine was running 135 over 86 or something like that. The doctor was happy with that. Well, I got at that without the medication. And I'm like, okay, so why do I want to keep taking medication? So I didn't. But anyways, so I just keep watch of it and do that. And my sugar was running, 120 or something like that, 110, 120. And in the first month when I started the system, it was in the 80s. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I want, and it's all natural. It's plant-based. There's nothing that's going to react with any kind of medication. I was all in. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this, and 30 pounds down. I've been stuck for a while, but 15 inches off, plaque psoriasis, eczema, all of that going away. Inflammation is gone way down. I can cross my legs now. You remember how you used to do the Indian setting? I haven't been able to do that in forever. And I'm like, at my daughter-in-law's, and I'm like, look, I can do my legs. Not just the inflammation, but I can see my face too. I see older pictures, and my face was so round and puffy. And hubby and I are going everywhere in the store. I'm like, stop it. Because you see it all over now. Once you realize, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Right.
So I can't say enough. And hallelujah, got a praise report of someone that had a year ago had a A1C of 6.7 and just got blood work done is 5.6 doing the system. I'm thrilled. I can't be happier. I just, my A1C went from 6 to 5.6 when I had it done, 4 months after I started, but I'm not on blood pressure, so I don't have a reason to go and get it checked, I guess. My sugars are running down in the 80s or whatever. I couldn't be happier. Wow. My skin's getting better. And, anybody that suffered with eczema or anything like that is horrible. It's itchy. It's uncomfortable. And it's just been wonderful. I have nothing but good to say. And it's all natural. You can't go wrong. Drink. That's all you got to do.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Sherry. I appreciate you sharing that story. I know you usually give your husband's quick testimony too, but we're going to move on to the ladies tonight, but I'll have you share that the next time we're on here. Tricia, I know that you have some results yourself, and I know that you wanted to share a few testimonies of those that you've been helping. So do you want to start with yourself and just let us know where you were before finding this protocol and the difference it's made in your life?
Sure, absolutely. I was a hot mess before I started this protocol. And I put in the hot because I got to give myself some kind of encouragement or something. I don't know. But I was a mess. I have and have had every medical condition that you can imagine. I'm sure Becky will show the wheel of illnesses, and I was able to check all of them off except erectile dysfunction. So praise God for that one. But yeah, so I've had lots of health struggles throughout my life. Like Sherry, I've been overweight my whole life, and my 3 siblings are all this big. And so, just always having to deal with that. I'm not athletic or anything like that. If I'm running, that means somebody's chasing me. So, but yeah, just having to deal with all the different health issues, seriously, through my whole life. I mean, I'm a 2-time cancer survivor, infertility, type 2 diabetes, colitis, asthma, migraines, and the list just goes on and on. And so, every time I'd go to the doctor, they would just give me another medication, and, it just kept getting, that's how they were fixing or healing me. Well, anytime I would ask questions, they would tell me, oh, just lose some weight and exercise. And, that's the magical fix that's going to help it. Well, when you can't get out of bed, it's a little hard to exercise. And that's where I was right before I started this protocol. I had tried every diet on the planet, including some you've never heard of. I invented some. It was bad. It was really bad. And so out of desperation, I started a medical weight loss program, and, it was supposed to be doctor monitored, and it was supposed to be safe for diabetics and all of that. And I won't go into all the details, but within the first couple of days, I did not feel well on this program that involved supplements and minerals and vitamins and all that kind of stuff. Well, within a couple days, I wasn't feeling good, couldn't eat, couldn't drink. And by day 6, I ended up in urgent care. And when they finally got the test results back of what was going on, because at that point we still didn't know what was wrong with me, I just figured I was dehydrated. They'd give me an IV and I'd be on my way. But the doctor came in and basically told me I had 2 hours to live. And that right there just really puts things into perspective, especially when I'm trying to lose weight. I researched it. I did everything I was supposed to do. And, this was my result. So, with all that to say, I was very leery to start anything else because, again, going through all that, I still have the flashbacks of the doctor telling me 2 hours to live, and, but for some reason, I was listening to my friend on Facebook and she just had this glow about her. And the longer I watched her and listened to her, she just kept glowing and she wasn't pushy and she was just explaining all these things that it could help. And I'm like, yep, I have that. I have that. I have that. And, I just kept seeing changes in her face. And, after I think it was probably 3 weeks, I finally reached out and was like, hey, can you tell me what you're doing? I'm very leery and, didn't go into all the details, but I tell you what, I was struggling so bad with migraines at that time. I was having them every single day. And for those of you that don't have migraines, bless your heart, because they are horrible. I'd be in bed, my husband would hold my hair back. I'd have a bucket and, just no light, no clothes, air would hurt. I mean, it was horrible and just no way to live. And I remember just laying in bed, praying to God, like, I'm 50 years old. This can't be my life, and I'd gone to doctor after doctor and they gave me a medication and I'd go to the chiropractor. And then it was, okay, your next step is a neurologist. And for some reason, I'm like, I'm not going to go to a neurologist. That's an old person doctor. And I don't know why I thought that, but I just wasn't willing to go to that yet. And I just told my husband, I have a brain tumor, and that's how I just justified sleeping in bed all the time. And I just kept praying for some kind of way to get out of bed, to live life instead of exist. And this protocol showed up at just the right time, and my life has not been the same. I haven't even been on it a year yet. In April, it'll be a year. And I tell you what, this is the most life I've lived, and I can't even tell you how long. It's amazing. And thank you. It is, I'm so blessed to just, and I want to say too, that for me, when I started it, it was not about the weight loss. Because I decided that no diet, I'm never going to do that again. I just wanted to feel better. I wanted to be able to get out and go out with my husband or go out with friends and be myself without pretending to be happy all the time. And that's what I was doing. I was masking so much of the pain that I had. And, it really started bothering me as a people person. I wanted to socialize and I just couldn't, and making up excuses. And sorry, all my family and friends that are hearing that, but when you're miserable, you're just trying to survive. So I'm super, super thankful and grateful. And, I've met the most amazing people. My team and everybody in this company is beyond amazing, just truly blessed. So, but I will just add that I got a call from my aunt yesterday. She lives in Arizona and her daughter lives in Colorado. And my cousin is literally like this big, the cutest thing. I love her with all my heart. You can put her in your pocket. She's so tiny, very, very healthy, very active, very, like I said, tiny. But she has been struggling with her cholesterol numbers and has done everything to try to remedy that. And for 2 years, she has really busted her butt in trying to get her numbers down. And for 2 years, she went total plant-based, gluten-free, everything, exercising regularly. And she had no weight to lose. Like I said, she's very tiny. And so I'm like, Pauline, just try this, you know? And she had just had blood work done in October. So she had a starting point. She started it. And on this past Friday, she had blood work done again, and her cholesterol dropped 30 numbers. And
Wow.
yeah, just in that short amount of time, her good cholesterol is a 92. And the doctor is like, wow. And, you know, this lady who has been so healthy her whole life, you know, it was just, I mean, she did have breast cancer 10 years ago. And so she's tries to be more natural and all that. So when I told her that this was all natural, she was like, okay. And her mom being on it had such great results as well. And so now I finally have other family members that are like, well, if she could do it, you know, it doesn't matter what I do, but, you know, with her, because she is so healthy, that it's made a really huge change. So my husband's down like 30 pounds and he doesn't snore, which is amazing for our marriage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so just a lot of good things. I've been hearing from other people just all the results that they're getting, and I just couldn't be happier. So
That's so awesome.
it's
Yeah, and it doesn't
amazing.
matter their size because
No.
anybody can benefit from this.
Yep.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Yep, you are so right, Sarah. Yep.
All right. Well,
So-
thank you, Trisha. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Did you have more than just the one?
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
That's because I just didn't want to cut you off if there was some,
Oh,
but I
no,
was
no,
going to
you're
have you
good. You're
mention at the end. I just want to make sure that we have time for Sarah to give hers, and I also want Mimi to be able to dive into some of the science. So, Sarah, if you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna turn to Mimi and let her get some of the science in. We're about halfway in, about the halfway point, just about. So, I want to kind of touch on the science a little bit. If you're watching this as a replay, please know that you can skip if there's somebody specific that you want to hear their story all over again. You can kind of skip to that part. But Mimi, it's been a minute since I've been
Yeah.
able to
I
have you on one of my
know.
lives, and I'm so happy and blessed to be able to have you join us tonight. I
Yeah.
know Ott there somewhere. I don't know if he wants to hop on here, if you want to share his story as well as yours, but would you just kind of start with your background, kind of where
Sure.
you were, and then when you're done with that, if you just want to go into the science of insulin resistance, I'd appreciate it.
Yep. No problem. Yeah. So, I don't want to go too deep into my testimony. Is not as half as good as what you guys are talking about, but I have had my insulin resistance time. About 2.5 years ago is when I heard about this. And it was through John Cox, right? John had been reversing his type 2 diabetes, and was just diagnosed recently. And so he perked his ears, and he wanted to really get his numbers right and not go on medication. He just didn't want to. So his testimony is reversing his type 2 diabetes in 3 months. His numbers became normal. He didn't have to ever get on metformin or any other drugs like that. But he had struggled for quite a while with high blood pressure, like for 8 or 9 years. Was on medications for that, and didn't like it, but it is what it is. Don't know any better, right? I had no clue that insulin resistance is a directly causes high blood pressure, right? Because of what it does in the kidneys. So after reading about this protocol and seeing our results, like energy back, inflammation down, my gut health had reversed completely because I had IBS for all my whole life. A lot of bloating, constipation. So I dealt with that. And so when that started to reverse and my energy was back, I lost 35 pounds. And then I actually lost 40, a little over 40 now. And I've been maintaining that for, a good 2.5 years now. And you don't yo-yo back and forth, you just maintain. It's a lifestyle that you just, your body gets basically rid of a lot of that inflammatory fat, right? So, and I know I had that. I had a big belly. So when I started to feel all these changes, I had to know really what was going on. And I'm like, I'm a nurse. Why do I not know about insulin resistance causing all these major complications. I knew it was related, but how it was directly causing it, my eyes were open when I read How and Why We Get Sick, right, by Dr. Bickman.
Yep.
A great read, by the way, for anyone interested. So that's when I got started doing a deep dive and got interested in sharing this with other people, helping people get healthy without necessarily having to go the pharmaceutical route if they didn't want to. And if they were already on medications, a lot of times we see people coming off of them because when you fix the root problem, then all the symptoms start to go away. And like I said, most of those things you showed early, Becky, were symptoms of insulin resistance. So what that exactly is, insulin is a major hormone. It's like one of the main hormones that control metabolism and sugar levels, right? Sugar and insulin goes together. Like when you eat, of course, insulin follows the spike that you just created to bring your blood sugars back into order and bring them down to a healthier level and help the cells get fed glucose. If with insulin resistance is when you're spiking your blood sugar over and over again, and your insulin follows and stays high. When insulin stays high over time, your cells stop responding to that hormone. So the receptors start to just shut down and not really respond to open the cell for energy to come in. And so your cells start to basically fall apart, right? They can die off. They cannot function. You get fatigue and you get a lot of symptoms and inflammation around the body. Knowing that, when we start to bring down insulin levels and keep them at a healthy level for most of the day, we all of a sudden lose a lot of extra like stored fat, right? We bring down inflammation. We get into a cellular healing stage, right? And a fat burning stage, because when insulin is high, you can't burn fat for fuel. So we bring that down. All of a sudden you can burn your excess fat, which is inflammatory, mainly in the gut, when you have that visceral fat that starts to build up with metabolic issues. And when that starts to happen, you just feel great. You start to feel healthy. Your cells are now starting to breathe a little bit like, I've got energy again, right? And just things start to just fall into place. So blood pressure can start to be regulated. Blood sugars are staying regulated. People are starting to feel better, more energy. And when we prioritize the proteins, the fats, keeping insulin low, magical things happen. Really, it is just about science, right? So that's how that works. We start to get insulin sensitive at the cellular level. And that's what makes all the difference. Now, I've been in the GI field, gastroenterology, for like 20 some years. I see people with gut problems, right? And Sarah's going to go into her story, and I love that story. Also, Trisha, you are another rock star with this protocol, really helping you heal at this level in the gut. And the fiber, right? It's the diversity of fiber, and it's about taking down insulin resistance. So it's like two sides of the same coin, so to speak. So when we're attacking both of those issues, that's when we see a lot of changes and symptoms go away. Awesome. Yeah, I love that. So I love Sarah's. I won't take her time away. I would love her to share her story. Because
You're the smart one. Go ahead.
Well, when you understand what leaky gut is, right? Because we all this was kind of a new term in the last 10 years for scientists and for doctors. And it's like, well, what's going on at the cellular level and the bug in the gut? People coming in, all of these symptoms with the gut problems. It's our modern environment, our modern dietary environment, right? Constantly snacking all the time, processed foods, lots of sugar, inflammatory ingredients. They don't even know what's in a lot of these foods that we're eating, that are boxes and bags and preservatives. So besides that, we're in a stressful world now. I mean, stress can also increase insulin resistance, I must say, and have a big effect on gut health. So it's not just diet, but the main thing we want to attack here is our diet that we can make choices about.
Mhm.
And we can really make a big difference when we bring all these in order. And that involves, the fasting, which is easy on this protocol, anti-inflammatory product that helps curb your appetite and boost your own GLP-1 hormone. So all of these things, plus adding fiber to the mix in your gut. So now you've got diversity of fiber, which is critical for your microbiome to start to repair and produce these postbiotics that repair and heal the gut, close up the gaps so we don't spill toxins into our bloodstream and around the body, cause inflammation. Now they're linking a lot of autoimmune diseases to leaky gut syndrome, from rheumatoid arthritis to psoriasis to all kinds of issues. So this is a big deal, and it's helping a lot of people.
Sure
So
is.
I love it. I'm never going to stop it, and I'm never going to stop talking about it. So that's in general what it's doing, right? Is that what you wanted, Becky?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mimi. Yeah. Anything that you share, I always just sit back and just like, I can just take it all
I know.
in.
We can
Yeah.
just listen to her
thank-
talk all day. Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Mimi, what would you, or maybe Ott would like to join us? I don't know if he's busy or not, but would you, kind of talk about Ott's health a little bit too? Because I know I know you did, a little bit, but he was struggling quite a bit too, right? Now I know,
Yeah.
like you mentioned John didn't even realize he was a diabetic, neither did Ott.
Yeah.
So what kind of, that had to have been surprising, right? Because I'm sure his attitude is, well, I'm married to a gut health nurse. I think I've heard him say that before. I'm married to a gut health nurse. How would we not know this? How would we not see the signs? Right?
Right.
So,
Right.
so how did that process take place? I'm sure it was quite a bit for you guys to kind of have to transition to learning something new. Here you thought you understood, right? And then
Well-
even people in the medical field, I think, I mean, even you had said, how do I not understand what insulin resistance, maybe not necessarily even what it is, but the depths of what it does metabolically to our body. So just kind of walk through that process a little bit when you guys found out that he was diabetic.
Yeah. When he found out, he definitely didn't want to go the route of medicine. He had kind of a gut, he couldn't get rid of it. He had high blood pressure. He was always feeling tired, needed naps every day. These are all signs and symptoms, right?
Yeah.
And, sleep apnea, right? He was dealing with this for years, and he was trying to use a device versus the CPAP machine, and all of that kind of got resolved over time, not immediately, but over time with the protocol, because when you start to address the issue of the insulin resistance affecting every cell in your body, basically,
Right.
it can,
Right.
right? The inflammation that's coming down, right? That causes a lot of that puffiness around your neck and the pressure in your gut, pushing reflux and all of that. That gets resolved, your symptoms start going away. So we know it helps with cardiovascular because of the cholesterol and the HDL and all of that. It helps improve the numbers, your blood sugars, and that's key for healing. If your blood sugars are high all the time, you're not going to be a good healer.
Right.
You're going to get infections and things like that. And I know a lot of women get bladder infections, kidney stones, and it's like, this is metabolic syndrome. I mean, everything I see in my patients is practically 99% is metabolic syndrome.
Wow.
And it's just, these things are like a rolling ball of snow, right? It's getting bigger and bigger over time. And Trisha, you were at the end of a desperate situation. I'm so happy that you found this.
Yes, me too.
It is a
Yeah.
life.
I think about it too. And you always hear what if I knew this way back when, and maybe I could have been a mom, you never know. But one thing I do want to say is oftentimes the older we get, we're told that it's hereditary. Oh, it's in your genes. You're just gonna, and that was my attitude. I have had that attitude my whole life. It's like, okay, what's the next thing I'm gonna get? And unfortunately, I've gotten everything that's in my family, except prostate cancer. My great grandfather had that, but it's one of those things that you don't have to, you know, live your life expecting to get these illnesses anymore, because they are more lifestyle than hereditary. And type 2 diabetes, I have it on both sides of my family, and I'm pretty close to being no longer diabetic, so that's it's pretty amazing. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to add that it's not always hereditary. I mean, some things obviously can be, but not everything.
No.
But if you think about it, look at all the commercials and everything we hear all the time.
Yeah.
40, you're over the hill. Okay, you're going to need this pill. You're going to need that.
Yes.
I mean, we're indoctrinated ever since we started watching TV of things that you can expect to happen. And if you don't know any difference, which I didn't,
Me neither.
over a year and a half ago, you have nothing to combat it with.
Right.
How are you going to
And you
change
trust
anything?
doctors. Mhm.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate that. And there was a couple things that Mimi touched on that I just kind of wanted to follow up a little bit. So I'm reading 2 books again, right? Because I read them a long time ago, but I'm reading them again.
I have trouble reading one.
I know.
Listen, I use the word read lightly, but I skim. I skim books.
Pictures.
That's why I need to read it again. I read Bestiaria. I'm sure you listen. There's 2 books, and we refer to them a lot, you guys, because these are the experts in the field. This is who we get a lot of our information from. One is, I know it's backwards, Why We Get Sick by Dr. Ben Bikman. He's a metabolic health scientist. He specializes in insulin resistance, and something that stuck out at me when I read this, but I mentioned it because Mimi did. He says, far beyond regulating our blood glucose, insulin has an effect on every cell in every tissue of the body. So literally, insulin will affect every part of your body from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. No cell goes untouched or unscathed by insulin. And so, and then there was something else that I had wanted to say. I did a study today on Dr. Fung's book, The Diabetes Code, and a lot of people think that they are type 1 or maybe even diagnosed as type 1 diabetic, when in reality that may not necessarily be the case. And in his book, he talks about there's a test that you can have your doctor do. There are insulin producing beta cells, and in a true type 1 diabetic, some of those beta cells are missing. That's a true definition of a type 1 diabetic.
Wow.
Somebody who is diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic, but not a true type 1 diabetic, they're actually called, they should be diagnosed as MODY, M-O-D-Y. And it just means like a mature onset diabetes in youth. It can be at 8 years old. It can be in your 20s. It can be in your 40s. It means that you still have those insulin producing beta cells in your body. Those cells are present, but they're not functioning. So if you're a type 1 diabetic and you weren't born that way, have your doctor run that test, because according to Dr. Ben Bikman, a lot of times that can be changed with either an oral medication or even with some lifestyle changes. But he goes on to talk about how every cell in the body, remember how we were just talking about that with Dr. Ben Bikman? Here's what Dr. Fung has to say. Every single cell in your body is affected. Your eyes will rot. You'll go blind. This is what excess glucose, excess insulin will do to your body. Your eyes rot, you'll go blind. Your kidneys rot, you'll need dialysis. Your heart rots, you'll get heart attacks and heart disease, heart failure. Your brain rots, you get Alzheimer's disease. You guys, that's what they're calling type 3 diabetes. It's excess glucose, it's hyperinsulinemia. Your liver rots, you get fatty liver disease. You guys, kids as young as 10 years old have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That is a problem. We are making wrong choices for our children when a 10-year-old can have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, but a third of our country has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Or cirrhosis. Your legs rot, you get diabetic foot ulcers. Your nerves rot, you get diabetic neuropathy. No part of your body is spared. And this is why we get on here on these social media platforms and we talk about this, because it's not being discussed in doctors' offices. And it's something that we need to be discussing. So I'm going to use that as a segue into Sarah's story. Sarah has a tremendous, and Sarah, I love having you on my lives because you bring the entertainment. I love it. I love it.
Sorry.
So see, just like that.
I'm the spicy one.
I know. I love it. I love that about you. So Sarah is somebody that I have not known very long, but certainly, I mean, same with all you ladies. I don't mean to just be pointing out Sarah, but and I should have started that way with
Whatever, it's just me.
with all of you. But Sarah is a little spitfire, and she is so much fun to hang around. But she truly was pretty sick, and I remember meeting her for the first time, actually at Mimi's house, and she was a little skeptical, a little bit. But she has some health issues. And so, Sarah, would you just kind of share your story with us?
Sure. So I was a mess too. I don't know about hot like Trish over there.
Yeah.
It was hot, but I wasn't a hot mess, but I was a mess. And
You're on your way to a hot mess.
Yeah, so I was just a mess. I felt bloated, inflamed. I don't know, just like,
Yep.
you know, big, yeah. Anyways, I has been struggling most of my life, not all of my life, but most of my life, with gut issues. Like either this might be TMI, constipated, have diarrhea, have hemorrhoids. Like, I mean, I've had it all, and nothing would just a smooth sailing regular like everyone else has, and it's not fair. And I didn't know if it was because I was dairy free, gluten free. Just, you know, I tried all the different things to try and reduce stuff, whatever. Finally, I went and got tested and had a colonoscopy. I'm only 43, so it was definitely before my time and not exactly what you want to spend your money on. But, you know, your health is important, and I was sick of it, and I wanted to make sure it just wasn't up here and it was a real thing. They found ulcers in my large intestines. So I have had, maybe still have, but I doubt it, have collagenous colitis, which is ulcers in my large intestines. And the only way to find that is they have to take a biopsy of the ulcer and then they send it into a pathology. And then when I got back with the results, I think I cried, to be honest, because I was like, it's not just me. Like, it's not just me. Like, for a while, I was like, it's just in my head. And it didn't matter what I took or what I ate. And I would always have to worry where the bathroom is and always, yeah. And then I quit working out because, you know, if you got to go while you're exercising, it's not very easy when you're not very far away. And I like to run, but I'm not a good runner, even if you chase me. So I probably wouldn't have made it to the bathroom in time. So anywho, it just was like a domino effect. And I felt bloated. There were days I had to call off from work because I was completely exhausted and in pain, laying in bed. I, like Trish, was praying to God, please I need help. I can't live this way. You know, I'm only 40, you know, plus years, and I can't live this way. I have kids and I want to do fun things with them, and I want to be the cool parent, still striving for that. But anyways, I want to be that cool parent, and I want to do fun things with my kids, and I want to be there for them, and someday grandkids, but knock on wood, not for a while. And so all that fun stuff, but like, I can't do that if I'm laying in bed and miserable and always wondering where the toilet is.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
yeah, Mimi was a great help because I was like, do you think this would work for me? And she's like, it will, but it's going to be a rough go at first. And it was. Compared to most people, they start it right away and they feel great right off the bat. I was not one of them. I had texted people multiple times and I'm just like, is this normal? Is this normal? I know I'm not normal, but is this normal? And they're like, not usually. Go really slow. So I had to like start out really slow, like half balance, which is like the fiber mixture, which is amazing and has been a lifesaver for me. I had to start slow with our tea that we drink. But now I'm on full-fledged protocol and it's amazing. I have normal bowel movements. I'm not bloated like I used to be. I can eat food and not have to worry about where the bathroom is all the time. I had asthma. I'm off my asthma inhaler. When I got sick too, I still didn't need my inhaler, which is great because I was like, what is going on? My dad has asthma as well. And so I knew it was in my genes. but yeah, I don't have to have that anymore. I just started doing yoga lately. So when my
Wow.
husband came in yesterday, and I was like, he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing yoga, honey." So anyways, like it gives you energy to actually want to do stuff and want to get healthy. So yeah, so now my cholesterol's down. My doctor was like, "Way to go. I can't believe it," because I stopped eating eggs and avocados and all the things you're not supposed to eat,
Right.
supposedly. But
Uh-huh.
you're supposed to eat that. That's good stuff for you. And I didn't realize that until this protocol, learning how my body takes the food that I put in it and how it disperses it for energy and how fasting can be amazing and healing for you. So I've learned a lot in this whole protocol, and yeah, you have nothing to lose to try this. Give it a shot. Your body's worth it. You're worth it. If you don't have your health, you have nothing.
Right.
And yeah, that's basically what I got. It's really helped my stomach feel so much better. So now I end up doing 2 fibers a day. I don't feel like anybody in the world gets enough fiber
No.
in
Yeah.
their life
Right,
and their
right.
day-to-day thing. Even if you're taking Miralax or Benefiber or the pills and all the other things. No, it's just one source of fiber. This fiber that
Yeah.
we take is like 7 different kinds of fiber molded together to be something amazing and coating your lining of your stomach and heal it. So anyways, there's my 2 cents.
Yay.
Right.
For fiber, we're only getting about half the amount of fiber that's recommended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and when they start taking fiber out of our food, see, my whole idea, my mantra is food is the one thing we can control, right? And I say all the time in my videos and in my lives and when I'm talking to people, I say that because we choose what foods we buy from the grocery store, right? We choose which drive-throughs we're going to go through. We choose how we're going to prepare that food when you get it home. We choose the snacks and the food and what we're putting into our mouth. We make those decisions. And if food is such a big contributing factor to insulin resistance, then that's the one thing that we control that we can change. We have the power to do so. And when I talk to people about this protocol, I share with them. In fact, I had a comment on one of my Facebook videos earlier today that I came across, and it said, "So what you're just recommending fasting and fiber?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely, but you have to look at it in a grand scheme of things, in a bigger picture. You can't just say fasting and fiber. That's easy. If it were easy, we wouldn't have a population where we have 93% of this country with poor metabolic health, right? We wouldn't have climbing statistics year after year after year of every chronic disease, obesity, diabetes, blood pressure, neuropathy, IBS. We have all of these health issues that just continue to climb year after year after year. And so food is the one thing that we focus on because we can control what our foods, right? So I just want to show a couple things. Here's what we're talking about. Maybe you guys have heard this. We are told by our health professionals that we should be consuming several small meals a day. This is exactly what we're talking about. We choose the meals that we're having. We're choosing the foods that we're having at those meals. We choose the snacks that we have. And then when you stop and look at the fact that the food manufacturers remove fiber out of our food, that's a huge, that's a huge blow to the gut, really. Because we need that fiber. Fiber has been shown to, let me pull this one up. Fiber is beneficial because it's been proven to curb appetite between your meals. Fiber is satiating. When you have a lot of fiber at a meal, say lunchtime, you don't need that afternoon snack. It's not necessary. You're not hungry. The satiety hormone has been appeased. You don't have that nagging, you don't need that Snickers bar because you're hungry. Fiber has been shown to control blood sugar levels. And it helps with weight management because you aren't snacking all day long. So our fiber specifically was studied by the University of Sydney and found that when you take this prior to a meal, it actually blunts the impact of the blood sugar spike that you're going to have by upwards of 40%. It's kind of a big deal, you guys. If you know anything about the glycemic index, the University of Sydney created that. Foods have a specific number on how it's going to affect your blood sugar level. And like Mimi said earlier, when you have food, the insulin's got to tag along. You can't eat something and not need the insulin. And so every time we eat, there's going to be insulin present. And so fiber helps be able to cut back the amount of foods that we're eating on a day-to-day basis. But not only that, when you have fiber first, this fiber specifically helps to absorb some of the carbohydrates that might be in that meal that you do consume. And then if it's absorbing some of the carbs also, but by the time you get to the carbs, you guys, food order matters, right? We want fiber first. We want proteins and fats first. Proteins are your building blocks. Fats is our fuel source. By the time you get to the carbs, you're not going to overeat them. You don't have any room left. So this fiber has been shown to be an amazing, amazing tool to have in your back pocket, and have this just before dinner. We have this once a day before your carb heaviest meal. You can get this in orange or mixed berry. It's not your neighborhood Metamucil, Benefiber. Those are single source fibers. This is, like Sarah was saying, a viscous blend of soluble and insoluble fibers, and has amazing, amazing effects on the body. The other part of the protocol that we've been talking about all night is something called Unimate, which is a yerba mate extract. We've extracted the best parts of the yerba mate plant, and we've made it into this chlorogenic filled drink. Chlorogenic acid I like to focus on specifically because you might see this chart above me, the green one. We did a study that was able to prove that when you're fasting, then this chlorogenic acid helps your body to produce upwards of 67% more GLP-1. Do you guys understand that that means you don't need the OZ jab? You don't need the new OZ pills, right? The Ozempic pills that they have now in case you don't want the injectables. We have the plant-based, all-natural alternatives to statins, medications, metformin, and we've got the science studies and clinical studies to back up that claim. So this you can actually get in lemon ginger. We have a newly released for a limited time mint chocolate brownie, which is a decaf. We have a raspberry pomegranate that's a huge hit. Can't even keep it in stock. And now
Love it.
Just recently, I love raspberry pomegranate. Also just recently released our bestseller lemon in a decaffeinated version as well. So if you're afraid of fasting because you're afraid that you're going to get the jitters, you're afraid, you don't have to worry about that, because this is helping to regulate. You get those jitters because you have either a really high blood sugar level, you have a really low blood sugar level. It's the hormone telling you, the food noise telling you that you need to eat something. This shuts that off. And it also helps us to produce more ketones. When you're fasting, your body is going to give you ketones that's going to help you use that for fuel as well. Mimi, is there anything that I missed as far as that is concerned when I'm talking about the Unimate or the fiber that you can think of?
No, I think you hit on that. A natural, insulin sensitizer, right, for the cells.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Anti-inflammatory effects. It's got antioxidants. It's great for your immune system, your gut health, digestion, and there's so much more to it that we can share if people are really interested. But there's, like I said, those fibers are unique and blended together for a reason, of all those reasons, for not just blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, which they help for sure, but other things like healing, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Absolutely.
good.
So this is just a quick picture of what the system is. It's two products, one that we take twice a day when we're not eating, and one product that we take once a day just before we do eat. You are saving money on your grocery bill, because now you're not buying all of the breakfast foods, all of the snack foods, and all of the crap, really the processed crap, labeled as food, that was really just putting us on the train tracks that led us to gut health, gut wreck. And so this system costs $5.30 a day. You can pick your own flavors. We recommend and suggest a subscription, and try it for 90 days. The company is so sure that you're going to see results, because if you do not see measurable results, your A1C number comes down. Among other things, there's a fasting app that makes it very, very easy to, and you get a coach, right? So if you're watching this and somebody tagged you, you got a notification that somebody mentioned your name in a comment, and you're here because you checked that out, please get back with that person. The system breaks down to be about $5.30 a day. like I said, you're saving that much money or more in your grocery bill, so it essentially pays for itself. And if you could get your health back, if you could get off of medications, if you could actually have 2026 be the year of solutions, right? Those New Year's resolutions that are typically fizzled out by now at this point in time of the year. What if you could be successful with that and get your health back, right? So, ladies, is there anything that anybody, I know we're cutting it short. We've got just a couple of minutes until it's 8 o'clock. Is there anything that any of you ladies wanted to add before we end?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for being here. Thanks, Sherry.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, thank
Mimi,
you.
yes, Mimi, thank you for being on here tonight, being able to share your wisdom and your experience within the medical community to share the science on insulin resistance. It's appreciated. All right, ladies, thanks for all your testimonies tonight and your help. You guys, if you're watching, please get back with one of these ladies. We just want to help you guys.
Yep.
All right,
Yes.
have a good night, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.